So seems there was an internet issue at my side, so probably I couldn't stream properly. But what I can do is that I'm recording this video and I will probably publish this video today itself because we don't need any editing anyway. So I will be just recording this video and I will be publishing this video as it is. So today's topic is important for business owners or someone who has too many ideas and just wants to start some business, but what can you do because you have so many ideas, and which of them can be a good business plan? Like, almost all of us, literally all of us, have multiple business ideas and we all feel that I can do this, I can do that, idea number 3, idea number 4, and we end up doing nothing because we think that it requires too much efforts. So what all can I do? We just have one life, limited funds, limited resources, so what can we do? In such cases, MVP is your solution. You can test literally all your ideas without wasting much time, much resources, much funds, nothing. You will just test your ideas and get feedback from the market. So let's see what exactly MVP means and how your approach should be towards an MVP. So what exactly MVP means? Now the products that you are using are mature products. They don't require too much work or anything like that. They are into development phase. They are already accepted by the world. If you are already using it, so probably the world uses it as well. So it is a proven product. But when you are a new entrant in the market, so you will require an MVP. So let's break that down. What exactly MVP means? MVP means minimum viable product. So minimum, like minimum product that nobody wants to use, and viable means that companies that build amazing products. So we need something in between. We need to provide basic features as well as it should be accepted by your customers, and that intersection of both of them is called an MVP. That is where first version lies. So coming to the outline, what exactly this PPT involves, and of course this PPT is not created by me. I have already linked that in the description. You can check them out. So first of all, why do we need an MVP? Then how do we decide what features need to be included in an MVP? Then how to validate that in the market, and where do we go from there? Like, what would be the next step? So this is how the objective outline looks like. And let's talk about objective. What exactly you will get from this presentation? So you will learn the concept of a lean startup, MVP that requires not too many resources. Then you will be figuring out how to build an MVP with your team. And third thing is what needs to be considered while building an MVP. That is the most important part for any company, not company but any individual who wants to create a product and build business out of it. So there are some definitions. The Lean Startup is a very popular book meant for entrepreneurs, and there is a definition of MVP in that book. A minimum viable product is a version of a new product which allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the least effort. So you are not putting too much resources into building your product, but you are also getting all the data and validations that you require from the market. That is called MVP. So why do we exactly need an MVP? So first of all, any new product doesn't have any good strategy or market research or anything like that right in the beginning. You need to understand the market, you need to understand what exactly people want, and that is why you need an MVP first. Secondly, you need to execute those required things within your team. You first of all, you don't know what exactly will be the challenges that you will be facing in future if you directly build a full-fledged product that you are aiming for. So MVP tells you what challenges you will be facing within your team. That is a major advantage of an MVP. And third is the lack of focus and execution when you are building a product. So if you are directly jumping to build a product, the chances are there that you don't know what market requires, what your customers will require. You just go on building a product and probably execute it as well, and then you eventually realize that this is not something that market wants, and that's the reason you require an MVP. So the goal of customer discovery is to test your understanding of the customer's problem and see if your solution will prompt him to use or buy the product based on the important features alone. So you just provide important features that are necessary for solving the problem of a customer, and see whether that customer is able to pay you for that solution that you are providing in the market. And that's the ultimate goal to build an MVP. Early adopters are your best customers. Always remember that they will give you feedbacks, they will give you ideas for features, although you don't need to work on the features that everyone is telling you right in the MVP stage, but they will be proving your notes right from the beginning. You will get a roadmap of your product, and that's the reason early adopters are the best customers of your product. Always focus on the early adopters, they literally love giving feedbacks. Then also MVPs refine the solution and eliminates product scope creep. So what exactly that means? So whatever the issues that you might face in the later stages, you will face that right in the beginning while you are still working with the limited resources, limited customers, and that eventually helps you to solve those problems at a very small stage and eventually iterate your execution so that you can launch it full-fledged with a bigger audience at a much better level. So that is why MVPs refine the solution that you will be providing in the market. The goal of the MVP is to build the smallest feature set. For example, if you are planning to build a stock exchange, maybe that's a huge thing, but you are just planning for that. So how will you test as an MVP? So you need to just start with one complete thing. So probably you can give a feature that will just allow users to trade stocks on your platform. That's it. Don't focus on mutual funds, FDs, US stocks, or anything like that. Don't focus on too many things. Always provide the complete solution, but a very single feature that your product will have. That is the importance of MVP. Stay with it. There are some examples of successful MVPs that later on turned into successful products. So first of all, iPhone 2, that was from Apple, that was an MVP. Then they literally scaled it. Now we know where exactly Apple is lying. Second one, I don't know what exactly the product is, so I won't really comment on that. And second and third is the second market, which was an MVP that used to basically it is a platform that tells you about financial decisions. If I'm not wrong, don't quote me on this, but that is what they do if I'm not wrong. But yeah, like we need to check it better way what exactly it does. But they started with a very small MVP using Excel sheets, and that was their MVP. So how do you decide features in a MVP? So first of all, less is more in MVP development. We often think that we should involve all the features that we can add and then build an MVP or even product, but that is the worst strategy that you can have. Always have the least features that you can provide, but do it best. Think what exactly your customers will pay you for. Just solve one problem, solve it correctly, and customers will pay you for that. That is the reason you should have the least possible features on your MVP. Keep it simple. Then the most boring feature is the most important one. And now if you see, if you look the products around you, all products are solving boring problems. They are not focusing on major things. What is Instagram like? This was what Instagram when it started. It's looking pretty boring. It was just a photo sharing platform, but they concentrated on uploading speed because there were many platforms that allowed to upload photos. Even Facebook was there, but uploading speed was their first approach over there. That is what they felt that they need to solve the problem, and they started with it. It was looking such a basic platform. Now if you see, Instagram doesn't look like this. Pretty interesting to see how it evolved with time, but this is how their MVP looked like. They just solved probably one problem and they were good with it. What a boring problem. Like, you are just focusing on uploading speed, being a photo sharing app, and that's it. You are not doing anything else. Yeah, that was the MVP, and that was the first initial release of Instagram that you see now. Then principle 3, remove all the resistance that can occur in the path of your customers or users probably. So now if you see this, Pinterest, Medium, they have not given any option to sign up with by giving a long form and then filling out all those things. They clearly gave only two options: just sign up using Facebook, email, that's it. That's one click sign up thing, and it's such an effective measure over there. Like, it literally reduces all the time, all the friction that is required to sign up on a new platform. That's such an amazing thing. And then even I'm sure they have focused on the minimum things, but this is the principle 3 where you need to remove the friction as much as possible. Now I literally see so many web3 platforms that are coming these days, and there is so much friction to even sign up on their platforms. They literally ask you to create a MetaMask account, then they ask you to sign up using that, put your coins in that, pay for it. Like, literally too much friction for a non-techie person to even sign up on web3 platforms. That's the worst thing that can happen for any user in any industry. So it's always good to focus on removing the friction. Then think scarcity. Like, your product should have lesser supply but high demand, and that is what one audio platform that worked really well few months back. I'm not able to recall. It was something uh, 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 how can I forget that was really a very hyped up app. I think it was from C or something like that. I'm not able to recall that app, but what it did, it literally created a huge demand by keeping its app exclusive. Yes, Clubhouse. Clubhouse is the app that literally created a huge demand just by keeping its app exclusive to Apple users first of all, and then it came to Android, and even then it was based on invites only platform. It was literally booming. It was literally trending everywhere. Everyone's talking about it just because it was exclusive to some members. So it's a good thing, because at that time they were silently working on all the features, on the things that were getting requested by the existing users, and that's the reason they first created for Apple users, because they are limited in numbers as compared to Android users. They improved their product, worked on it, and then released it for everyone. Although that's a different thing that nobody uses it now, but yeah, that is how they worked with their MVP, and that's such a great strategy. Exclusive, keeping it exclusive for few people and creating hype around it, it's amazing strategy to use for marketing an MVP, to make your users use it. Then, as I mentioned, focus on one clear loop. So what Uber did, Uber just had one option: set a pickup location, request a car will come, and you just pay the amount and leave the feedback. That's it. They were not solving anything else. They didn't try to rent a bike or rent anything else or become a self-driving car app, nothing like that. They were not doing anything apart from just renting a cab. And it's such a simple loop that user just comes, solves one problem, one single problem, and ends it completely. User gets satisfied. That's the ultimate goal of an MVP or even products. Most of the products should focus on one single problem instead of going through all the things that are coming in their way. Problems are unlimited. As an entrepreneur, we need to control our urges to just solving anything, everything. Don't listen to everyone. Always focus on one single problem and see where you are getting the highest response. And finally, last principle is to refine and collect as much data as possible. Iterate according to the data. You will get all the data. If you are building a tech platform, you will get literally everything using the analytics. Install that. Use heat maps for understanding the behavior of your customers and then make changes accordingly. That thing is literally very important for MVPs when products are into MVP stage, because you never know what exactly users are, how exactly they are behaving with your product. We often tend to think like a product owner. We create so many features in our platform, but then we realize that users are not using it like the way we use it. Users are completely using in a different way, so we don't want that. And that's the reason it's always good to measure all the feedback, user data, behavior, everything on your app, and then iterate it according to the user behavior. So, and finally, always have measurable metrics that you need to calculate for iterating your app or website, and then making changes according to that. Having clear metrics to measure the success of your product is very important. Some products might require high retention period. Like if you are creating a social media platform, it will be very important for your product to have high retention period. Maximum time should be spent on your product, and that's the metric that you will be using on your MVP. So many use cases are like that, and many metrics can be found out. It all depends on your objective, what exactly you want from your product. So set those metrics right and you are good to go. Then finally, the last thing that I would say, that be prepared to pivot if it's not working. There are so many platforms that have been literally pivoted completely and then they are thriving. For example, this Twitter was audio, which was an audio social network, but then Apple just attacked that space, and they knew that audio won't work altogether because Apple is a huge company, and that's the reason they completely pivoted their business to Twitter. That's now we know how Twitter is thriving right now. Same for The Point was a local social network which then was created into Groupon, that a very famous coupon website. So even they pivoted completely. Then even Slack was a gaming company before it became Slack. So there are major pivots in the market. Don't think too much about it. If you are feeling that your product is not working as you expected, it's not scalable, then that's the whole point of creating MVP. Your all the products, resources, time, money, everything is saved. You can now focus on something else. That's the whole point of MVP. That's the reason why you built MVP, and that's the ultimate thing that you need to do if things don't work out properly, and expect that. That's very common. Then finally, learn from everyone, follow no one, observe the patterns, work like hell. As I mentioned, this is summarized of what everything I mentioned. Learn from everyone. Don't take everyone's advice and keep adding features in your MVP. Observe the patterns, as I mentioned. Use the data analytics observe the patterns and make iterations accordingly. Work like hell for that. So this is an exercise, like actionable exercise, which is very much an amazing thing in this PPT. Kudos to the makers of this deck. So if you are a product manager of the startup team who is building a photo sharing website such that your customers are able to store, share and organize their pictures on desktop, tablet and mobile phone. So objective is to come up with the specifications of a product which can be built within 3 months. Then figure out whether the customers will be willing to print their pictures and calendars. Like, the first of all, the product should be able to organize all the pictures and it should be created within 3 months, and customers should print their pictures onto postcards and calendar. That is the ultimate goal that company has. Then gather the team around the and these 3 points, last 3 points, are same for all the MVP practices that you will do. Just note them down. So first of all, gather the team around and start working out a set of features which you will need for this photo sharing website. If you are creating a photo sharing website or any MVP, just list out the features that you would want to give priority for your product so that you can build MVP around that. Then you will also need to note down the measurable 10 metrics that you will always use to measure the success of your product. And there is a hint given in the below. A good strategy is to devise categories for different feature sets of a product. So there you should create different categories for the multiple feature sets of your product. So based on categories you can create features for your product. So multiple features can be built, but you need to find out which you need to focus. So this is same for all exercises. Last 3 points, this is same for all exercises. First of all, gather your team and list out the features that you want to focus, then list out the measurable metrics that you want to focus on, and finally have a good strategy to create categories and then features in that, like categories of features. This is the first exercise that you can do. Second one is about a video sharing website where your customers are able to store, share and organize their 1-minute videos on desktop, tablet and mobile phone. The objective is to come up with the specifications of a product that can be built and deployed within 3 months. Okay, figure out whether customers will be paying for storage. So this is basically YouTube. First assignment was about Instagram probably. Second is about not even YouTube, this is about short videos app, can be TikTok, Chingari, like that. So this is about it, and figure out whether your customers will be paying for the storage capacity that you